Paris, under the blinding lights of the Parc des Princes and the roar of a raucous home crowd, Paris Saint-Germain did what they've often been criticized for failing to do: deliver on Europe's biggest stage. A 2-1 victory on the night, 3-1 on aggregate, was enough to crush Arsenal's hopes and send the French champions to a much-anticipated Champions League final against Inter Milan. This was supposed to be Arsenal's night, another chapter in the renaissance Mikel Arteta has scripted at the Emirates. Instead, it was Fabian Ruiz and Achraf Hakimi who inked their names into PSG folklore, seizing their moments in a semi-final that had drama, controversy, heartbreak, and world-class moments befitting the occasion. A frantic start, a ruthless finish. It was in Paris, 19 years ago, that Arsenal contested their first and only Champions League final. They returned to the City of Light, needing to overturn a 1-0 deficit from the first leg, and for the opening spell, they played like men possessed. Within 5 minutes, Arsenal had PSG in a stranglehold. Declan Rice's header narrowly missed the mark, and Gianluigi Donnarumma, arguably the man of the tie, was called into action early, making vital saves from Martin Odegaard and Gabriel Martinelli. It was a siege, and for a brief moment, it felt inevitable that the Gunners would break through. But PSG absorbed it all. Then, with an elegance bordering on cruel, they struck. From a seemingly innocuous free kick, earned after Rice had clattered into Kvaratskhelia, Arsenal cracked. Thomas Partey's attempted clearance looped meekly into the air. Fabian Ruiz, ice cold, chested it down and lashed a shot from the edge of the box. A deflection off William Saliba wrong-footed David Raya, and suddenly it was PSG with a dagger in hand. Arsenal, for all their early aggression, were behind again. 2-0 down on aggregate. The climb had become a mountain, a controversial call and a moment of magic. PSG came out of the halftime tunnel with measured composure, pressing in all the right places and slowing Arsenal's tempo. The crowd sensed blood. What came next would inflame debate long after the final whistle. Achraf Hakimi let fly from distance, and the ball grazed the hand of 17-year-old Miles Lewis Skelly. Barely a protest from the players in blue. But in stepped VAR, and in a decision that seemed more algorithm than human, the spot kick was awarded. Vitinha stepped up, but David Raya kept Arsenal's pulse faintly flickering with a brilliant low save. The moment could have swung the tide. Instead, Hakimi made sure it didn't. Just minutes after the penalty miss, the Moroccan fullback, seemingly everywhere on the pitch, cut inside and curled a sublime finish beyond Raya to double PSG's lead. 2 goals on the night, 3 on aggregate. Paris smelled the final. Arsenal fight back, but fall short. If there's one thing Arteta has restored at Arsenal, it's belief. And even down 2 goals in one of Europe's most hostile arenas, his team didn't fold. Bukayo Saka, the ever-reliable talisman, found a moment of magic. After being denied earlier by Donnarumma's sprawling stop, he rounded the Italian keeper with poise and slotted into an empty net. Arsenal had life. The scoreboard read 2-1. One more goal would have made things very interesting. And then came the moment. Saka again, threw on goal, in space, staring down history. But with the goal gaping, he blazed over from point-blank range. A cruel twist for a player who has so often been Arsenal's savior. Heads dropped, the stadium erupted, the dream was slipping away. PSG march on, Arsenal left to reflect. With Ligue 1 already secured and a French Cup final on the horizon, PSG's dreams of a historic treble remain very much alive. Luis Enrique, hired to deliver European glory, now stands 90 minutes from immortality. The swagger is back in Paris. And for all the mockery of Farmers League jibes, this PSG side is no joke. League of Farmers, no? Enrique quipped after the final whistle, cracking a grin. But sometimes it's nice to prove people wrong, he continued. Our goal was to make history in Paris. This is the right path. We're young, we're hungry, and we're ready. Indeed, PSG's blend of experience and flair, anchored by veterans like Marquinhos and lifted by young stars like Kvaratskhelia, has begun to click in terrifying ways. Arteta: we were the better team. For Arsenal, it's a bitter pill. No trophy this season. The dream of a European crown evaporated once again. After the match, Arteta cut a solemn figure. I'm upset. It has to hurt if we want to win this competition, he said. Over 2 legs, the best player was their goalkeeper. We were the better side. We deserved more. He wasn't wrong. Arsenal's energy, creativity, and determination were there in abundance. But football, especially at this level, isn't always fair. It's about moments, and PSG owned more of them. You have to arrive at this stage with a full squad, Arteta.